To ask me, my guess would be that Marte will not be back next year with the Pirates.
Yeah, I just hope they can get a catcher or a pitcher for him. They need both of those desperately as far as I'm concerned. Well, Stallings is really their only catcher, right? They got to come up with somebody.
Yeah, they need a catcher, for sure.
Romine, the former Yankee, he just signed with Detroit today. I'd heard his name mentioned. They need a catcher desperately, and I think they need a starting pitcher desperately. And Marte's the guy that might be able to get you one or the other.
All right, we're going to continue the Pirates talk right now, 412-575-2600. We had a couple lights open, so we'll go out to Mike in Oakland. What's up, Mike?
Hey, Rich, what's going on, man? You look good. I like your haircut.
Oh, thanks. I just got a cut tonight.
It is very attractive.
Yeah, Lauren.
Very nice.
Yeah,
very
Azazu,
nice.
she does a great job.
It makes you look good, man. It makes you look really sharp.
Thank you.
Good to talk to you again. Listen, Ron, and I just want your thoughts. I just have a comment about the Pirates and get your thoughts. I'm sorry, man, but I mean, I guess I'm glad we got rid of a lot of the management. And we got these new people in, but I mean, what Gene Collier always says, what I think you say as well, Rich, and I don't know if Ron agrees. This team, it doesn't matter who we have as the management, the coaches, the AAA. I mean, the farm system. We need not even to spend some money. I mean, we have to trade Marte to get a catcher and a pitcher maybe. I mean, why doesn't the owner, he wants to talk a good game, but it's just, to me, I think it's same old, and we're going to have a rebuild. I mean, this is going to be a full rebuild. They're going to get rid of Marte. If he was making $3 million a year, they'd say we're going to build around him. Now he's making $10 million.
Yeah, Mike, I appreciate it. I don't think it's about money for Marte. I think it's about trying to get assets. That's what I believe.
Yeah.
They need to rebuild this team.
He's got 2 more years, and I don't know if they think they're going to be competitive this year or next year. And he's somebody that can bring you some help, some younger players. I'm leaning to think it's going to be more of a rebuild too. And I'm with you. I mean, these guys seem to be saying all the right things. From Travis Williams to Cherington to Derek Shelton. But it's still going to come down to, what kind of budget are they going to have, and are they going to be able to scout better, draft better, and develop better? I mean, that's their task. Their challenge is to draft better, scout better, draft better, and develop better.
Yeah, I had a chance to talk to these guys too, but they've all said payroll doesn't matter. So it's kind of like
payroll
the club.
does matter.
I think so too. They're $200 million behind the Yankees right now, so I think it matters a little bit. Here's where I was surprised reading some of the quotes. Jason Mackey, he was out there for you guys at the Post-Gazette, and I read some of the stories that he had, and one was surprising. Scott Boras came out and basically said that he feels like there's going to be a change there. I mean, I don't feel it other than new people, but Nutting's the one that okays the money.
Well, I'm sure Boras has had a relationship with Cherington when he was with Boston, because they've done big money deals there, and maybe he's comfortable working with him. But let's see. I mean, Josh Bell is Boras's guy with the Pirates, and I see just no way they do a deal with him, a long-term deal.
Oh, no way.
He's got 3 years of arbitration left. I can see him here 1 more year maybe, and then I just can't imagine him staying beyond that.
Well, Neil Huntington's theory was, or his philosophy was, that they would try to trade him 2 years out, his guys. So right. I don't know what Cherington's is, but I'd imagine they're going to try to move him at some point. He's the only guy that they can bring people in to watch. He's the only ticket guy this year.
A big reason why they were able to win in those 3 years, 13, 14, and 15, is McCutchen gave them an unbelievable team-friendly deal. And I don't see Josh Bell being a Boras client doing that. I think they'd love to sign Bell to that type of deal, but it ended up costing McCutchen. It got him security, there's no question, but I don't see Bell doing that same thing.
All right, Gene out in Glitzen. What's up, Gene?
Hello.
You're on the air, Gene. What's up?
Is Neil Walker coming back to Pittsburgh?
Thanks a lot, Gene. I doubt it. He was doing the high school football games with us, though, on the CW a few weeks ago. All right, Ron out in Aliquippa. What's up, Ron? How you doing?
Hey, guys. Doing good.
Thanks for calling.
My question is, why are the Penguins, won tonight's game, struggle on the power play sometimes? Why do you think it is?
I can tell you why tonight. They didn't have Malkin. He was sick. They didn't have Hornquist. He was out. They didn't have Sid. He was out. They had a shell of a team tonight, and they played the game they had to play. They were very defensive conscious. There were a couple breakdowns, loose pucks that ended up with breakaways the other way, but Jari was good enough to stop them. I thought Pedersen got away with a penalty, Rich. It easily could have been a penalty shot. But Jari was just fantastic. And the power play, you know, you're missing so many guys. It's not going to be as good.
Yeah, the power plays even struggle with those guys out there. But right now, not having them, it's even worse. I think sometimes when you do have them, there's not enough pucks to go around. But when they're clicking with all those guys out there. And when do you expect Crosby to come back here? January? We're looking at about.
I have heard nothing. I mean, I'm hoping if he gets back by mid-January, it'll be great.
Yeah,
I don't know that it's going to be much before then.
And why rush him back?
Because they're hanging in there. You know, they're now 8-4-3 without him. That's pretty good.
And depending on what Carolina does tonight, right now they're in third place in the Metro. So they're right in the thick of things. And I think that was what they were saying. If they can just, you know, stay above water here until Crosby comes back, they'll be fine.
Jari is just giving them such a lift. And, you know, I would expect that they'll go back to him again Saturday coming off of a shutout tonight. I thought before the game, okay, they're going to go Jari tonight, Murray against L.A. Now I'm not sure.
You have to, right? You have to
come
go
back with shutouts, 3 shutouts in 4 games. And the one the other night, he wasn't that bad. I mean, I guess he gave up 3, lost to Montreal, but it wasn't like he was horrendous.
All right, we're going to take a break. Back with more of your phone calls, maybe some of your tweets coming up next. Stay right there on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call, powered by FanDuel Sports.